do it.
Kathy and Kenny here to say, pop culture fun in every way. Music, TV, movies, oh so bright. Join us for a blast tonight. Sister and brother rocking the flow, sharing all the things you need to know. Kathy and Kenny always in the mix. Pop culture fun fix to fix. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone. Simple for everyone. I brought some for everyone. Pop culture kids podcast crew. Tune in and let the topics move. Kathy and Kenny make it fun. Pop culture talk for everyone.
It's Saturday night
Time for your weekly dose of pop culture.
with Kathy and Kenny. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. It is Sunday night, and we are Pop Culture Kids coming to you from the North and the South, North Carolina, South Jersey, with your favorite pop culture brother and sister team, Kathy and Kenny. How are you, my brother?
I want to start off by saying this is our first show of the new year, so Happy New Year to everyone.
Happy New Year, yeah.
Hope everybody put their new year in nice
All right.
and safe. Glad you're here in the 2025. Hold on, because it's going to be a rocky ride.
It's going to be a bumpy ride, but a fun ride, and hopefully
It's
we
going to
can.
be fun. It's going to be fun.
Hopefully we'll make it fun. In fact, over the break, which I know I'm like hours away from going back to work. Ooh, but anyway, having 2 weeks off, you kind of get out of the groove. And anyway, but during that time, we actually spent a day kind of plotting out some of the shows of what's coming up, what we'll be talking about, working on some things, including you can check out our website. So I probably should give it a shout out for the website. Let me. I should have had it up, you know. So, but on our website, which you can reach at kathyandkenny.com, because evidently that's not taken. But if you check out our website, you can see all the stuff that we got going on, and you can also connect with us as well. And in our pop culture corner, we have a blog, so we will be adding new posts to the blog every week. So the first article, and they're like really quick, like 2-minute reads. So it's, we're not trying to bog you down there, but we talked a little bit about resolutions because it's the new year, and that's what people do. They make all kinds of New Year's resolutions. So that's our first kind of like blog entry, and so just check that out. Wednesdays, 7 a.m. There'll be a new blog up. Also, if you check out our our YouTube page, Pop Culture Kids, we've kind of taken some of our best episodes and kind of condensed them down so that you can watch, instead of an hour long rewatching of the live, we cut out the news and just get to some of the topics we talk about. And you can find those videos on our YouTube page. So we invite you to check that out as well.
Yes.
Oh
If you're
yeah.
out there, if you're out there in the audience listening in, please leave a comment. Let us know you're there. Please tell a friend about us, and let's just have some fun. Okay, we're all
Let's
about
just have
having
some
fun here
fun.
and talking about pop culture. We are two Gen X. Well, I'm a Gen Xer. She's actually a baby boomer.
Why do you have to say it like that? Like,
Well, I'm
you
just
sound
saying.
kind
I'm
of
just letting you know.
judgmental.
I'm letting
Well,
you know you're a little older than I am, and I'm a little younger. You know,
yes,
just put it out
yeah.
there like that. No, no, no,
It's
no, no,
not
no, no, no,
rocket
no, no, no,
science.
no big deal.
I
Put
actually,
it out there.
I actually, by most accounts, I'm like the tail end of the baby boomers. So,
What about
all
tail
us
end,
folks
baby boomer? Whatever.
born in 1964, it was a very, very good year. But and I'm in
Tail
good
end, baby
company.
boomer.
You
Tomato,
know,
tomato. Tomato,
Courtney
tomato.
Love, Courtney
You're still a boomer.
Cox, Keanu
You're still
Reeves.
a boomer.
There's a bunch of us.
Okay, well, you know.
We're all
So let's
60
get
this
into
year.
pop
Hey,
culture
Reverend
news.
Waller, we're all 60 this year.
Yeah,
It's been
well,
awesome.
you know, let's get into pop culture news.
All right, let's do a little pop culture news. All righty, here
The
we
first
go.
thing we got on news is Karan Culkin confesses to getting Mark Ruffalo
Kieran,
and other actors. Huh?
you cannot pronounce a name to save your
I
life.
can't. I get names butchered all the time. It doesn't work well. Even when I'm on dates, it just doesn't work out for me. Um, but anyway, he gets Mark Ruffalo, and he confesses to getting Mark Ruffalo and other actors high during the 2000 production of James Lapine's play The Moment When. And what happened was there's a
What
scene
had happened
where
was,
what had happened was this scene when Mark Ruffalo was supposed to be smoking marijuana. He's supposed to be
mhm,
smoking a joint, and of course, it's a prop joint. This
is that a
dude thought it'd
thing?
be funny to replace the prop with a real joint.
Oh, ouch.
So the whole cast wound up getting high. So that he confessed to being the orchestrator of that practical joke.
That's a prank. Now, see, that's a
Yeah, yeah,
bad
yeah.
prank because,
That's it. Is it a bad prank? Really? They had a good time.
well, hey,
All was forgiven. They
as
had
somebody
fun.
with a CDL, I don't want you playing that prank on me. Because I'm subject to regular drug tests and ain't nobody got time for that. That ain't my kind of
uh,
prank.
Next on the news, we have Joffrey Owens, who played Elvin on the Cosby Show. Says that since the famous Trader Joe photo that he took, that someone took of him working at Trader Joe's, and everybody was like, "Oh man, the guy from the Cosby's is broke and he doesn't have any money and he's working a regular job at Trader Joe's." He says he is still struggling. That photo was taken in 2018, and he says he's still struggling because the actor's life is not easy. As we all know, it's not.
It's
You,
not
you
easy,
know,
not guaranteed.
no, it's not guaranteed. It's not easy, and he has gotten some help from some other entertainers. Tyler Perry, I think, casted him. 50 Cent casted him in some things. So he has been doing some things, but still, the work is still not steady enough for him to be comfortable like some other actors are.
Hmm.
So, okay. So we're going on, and I don't know if you saw. Well, I don't know if you saw this,
I didn't
but
until I read your
yesterday,
notes. Hmm.
yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not
President
gonna lie.
Biden awarded the Presidential Medal of Honor, which is one of the highest honors that you can give someone, to 19 people. And among those 19 people, a lot of political dignitaries and things like that. But as far as the pop culture world goes, Michael J. Fox,
Okay, that's cool.
Magic Johnson,
Nice,
Ralph
nice.
Lauren, Bono, Bill Nye, the science guy,
Cool.
and our main man, Denzel Washington.
Of course. Love it.
So all these people were awarded the Medal of Honor for, along with their stardom, giving notice of different causes in America and helping people out
I was
and
about to
things
say
like that.
a lot of the folks that you named, and again, I mean, they're noted for, whether it's athletes or performers or scientists, what they're known for, but they also, like I know Bono again does a lot of charity work and Denzel as well, and even Magic Johnson. But so that's pretty cool to get your flowers while you're still alive to enjoy
Yes.
them. So we're all about that
Yes.
life. I like it. All right,
Now,
what else you got in pop culture
did,
news? Unless you
did
added
you
something because
happen
I didn't
to
look at the
catch?
notes. Hmm?
Did you happen to catch the induction of the 2024 Rock and Hall of Fame?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I did not. Was that on Disney
Okay,
Plus? Because I know usually
it's
is either
yeah.
Disney Plus or Paramount. One of them will show the whole ceremony,
I
the
saw it on
uncut
Hulu.
version.
I
Oh,
saw it
okay.
on Hulu.
But I usually like to wait for like the cut up version because I can't sit through all of that.
Yeah, well, the Hulu version doesn't have the commercials, but you
Okay.
get through all of it.
Hmm. Well, maybe
So
your
who was
version of
awarded?
Hulu doesn't have commercials. My poor people's version of Hulu has
Well,
commercials.
so who was awarded? Cher,
All
Peter
right.
Frampton, who I thought was already in,
Which Cher
Dionne
is one of
Warwick.
those artists that she's like had hits in like I don't know 5 or 6 different decades, like
Well, they say in
ridiculous.
this, they say she had hits in 7 different decades.
7 different decades.
Yes.
Damn.
I was
Go
sitting there
Cher.
counting like, 15, let me look this up. Anyway, Peter Frampton, who I thought was already on, Dionne Warwick, Cool in the Gang, Ozzy Osbourne, who I thought was already on, Tribe Called Quest.
Ozzy Osbourne might be in with Black Sabbath. So
I
maybe
don't
he.
know, but they
Okay.
awarded him one separately.
Mhm.
Dave Matthews Band, Mary J. Blige, Foreigner, and Jimmy Buffett.
And how come my girl Tina can't get in? My gosh.
Well, I don't know, but let me tell you something.
Uh oh.
Here's the pattern that they were doing. They were doing a pattern where uh, the people would do their work or sing their songs, and they had people perform with them.
Hmm.
In Jimmy Buffett's case, you had James, used to be her down,
James Taylor.
um, James Taylor. James Taylor sang with a couple other people. Kool and the Gang pretty much did their thing as Kool and the Gang only could. Tribe Called Quest. Now that was dope because you had Busta Rhymes come out in the end and do the end of Scenario,
Hmm.
which was hype.
Here we go.
And everybody knows, wow, wow, like a dungeon dragon, little boy, because your pants are sagging. Like but to have Busta Rhymes doing that, Q-Tip in the audience, and he's just, you have Queen Latifah come out, and you had Common come out and do Bonita Applebone. Come on, man, it was off the chain. It was off the chain. Dionne Warwick did
Wait,
her
Dionne Warwick's
thing.
not in already?
No, but she's in now. And
Okay.
Dionne Warwick did some singing. And Mary J. Blige came out and did it. And then she had a couple of artists sing with her that are lesser, and I can't remember the names, but a lot of them were lesser known artists. And I kind of appreciate the fact that she didn't have big names with her, but she had some lesser known names with her.
Hmm.
Peter Frampton tore it up, and I forget who he had
Well,
with
his claim
him.
to fame was his live double album. Like that's what people knew him for. So
With Peter Frampton.
yeah,
Yeah.
Frampton Comes
Well,
Alive. Yeah.
now Ozzy Osbourne in his tribute, who was playing guitar but Wolfgang Van Halen.
Okay. Hmm.
And my question I put on Facebook was, is Wolfgang as good as his dad?
But that's a lot to put on a kid.
I
Because
know. I
Eddie
know
Van
there's a lot to put
Halen,
on
to
him.
me, Eddie Van Halen, guitar wise, is almost in a different stratosphere. Like,
True.
so to me,
He's up there with Prince. Like you can't really.
yeah,
He's up with Prince and Hendrix. You can't really.
right. You can't even quantify. So
You
to
can't
me,
even put
that's
a
like
label
that's a
on it.
big burden for. And I mean,
I
you
did.
you should know as somebody who has to bear the burden of being called Junior. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a lot
I
to
know.
bear.
It's hard.
Speaking
And
of
I
Junior,
did
let's
notice
go
one
see
thing
a
I did
Junior.
not like about this ceremony.
Okay, what didn't you like?
the one thing I did not like about the ceremony, okay, when you had Cher,
Hmm.
you kind of camera placement is everything. And when you
Uh-oh.
put camera on the audience and you see different people, different celebrities dancing to different types of music and different things, it was kind of telling where when Tribe Called Quest was, they were honoring him and Queen Latifah was up and Common was up, it was, when you showed only the black artists jamming out, Mary J. Blige jamming out and everybody else jamming out when they're up,
Hmm.
and, you know, I don't know. It,
You do know because you mentioned it, so just say it.
yeah, it's
You're
just
trying
it
to
was just kind
sugarcoat
of
it. Just say
it was
it.
just kind of yeah, it was just kind of the way they did, when the white artist was being honored, they didn't show the black artist. When the black artist was being honored, they didn't really show the white artist, and it was just kind of very telling to me about diversity in America not quite being where we needed to be.
Okay, so that's where they were going with it.
That's where they went with it, and
So
I
now
didn't
the
like
Rock
that
and
part
Roll
of it.
Hall of Fame, you're saying it's on Hulu?
It's on Hulu, yes.
Hulu. Who knew it was on Hulu? So I can
I
go check
knew
that
it
out.
was on Hulu.
I didn't even know they were doing it this weekend. I'm like, it's a holiday. Who's got time? Ain't nobody got
Yeah, they
time for
did it.
that.
No, they did it on the first.
Oh, they did it on first. See, I missed it. I mean, it's New
Yeah,
Year's. Or I don't know when it actually happened, but that's when it aired, I guess.
yeah, that's when it aired. It aired on the first, I believe.
Okay.
So,
All right.
and for some reason, you added some to our main list. You added some things that I don't have on my list.
I did.
But
I did. But before we get to the list, again, it's pop culture kids, and usually we pick a topic. Um, okay, so all right, so Roy has it. Hey, Roy, he said it was on Disney Plus. See, I thought Disney Plus was the one who had rights to it because I thought they usually show the whole like 6 or 7 hour, however long it takes them to film it. But I guess they did it back in October. But I guess you're saying Hulu had it available in on January 1st. So maybe the rights to it were available. But like I said, I missed the whole thing. I missed the whole thing, and until they get Tina Marie in there, I don't want to see that. But I
wow,
know
you holding out for T. Marie, really?
exactly because actually, I think like the day after Christmas, because that's the day she passed, and it was like it's been 15 years. I miss my lady T. But I have to say, thank you for the awesome Christmas present, and I should have brought it in here, and I didn't. But my brother brought me a record player, which is so cool. But right now, at a time when I was DJing back in the 80s, I had what was called 12 inches. And for you kids, before they were streaming, we used to have songs that were more than 20 seconds on a TikTok video. They would be like 12, the 12 inches with the long extended versions. I had tons of those crazy albums, all from the 80s. Now I lost a lot of them when our basement flooded and all my albums got warped. But I'm down to like a box of just some random albums. But yeah, now my brother gave me a record player for Christmas, so I can actually play them. So that's pretty cool, pretty exciting.
I
And
really
of them,
did
I
it
only have
because
only one of my Tina Marie albums survived. I'm so
I really did that because I was holding all her vinyl up in my room, and I just wanted to get rid of that
oh, okay.
for the space. I
Oh,
needed more
okay. So
space.
that makes sense. Roy is saying that Disney owns Hulu, and I didn't know that.
Yes,
So I'm learning
yes,
all kinds of things.
yeah. ABC, Disney owns ABC, Hulu, and yeah,
And
because
ABC.
that's how I realized it was on Hulu because they mentioned it on the news. They said you can find it on Disney Plus and Hulu. So I
Okay.
just clicked on my Hulu instead of clicking on Disney Plus and went
Got
right
it.
to it.
Got it. Uh, oh my gosh, I did too. Roy says he had the 12-inch version of Rapper's
Oh
Delight.
yeah,
I
everybody
sure
had that
had.
one.
You
Oh
had to
yeah,
have that.
with a hip hop,
Hop and a
hip
dip,
it, hip
dip,
it, hop.
don't stop rocking to the
I
bang
can
bang.
play Rappers Delight on my bass.
Oh, nice. Well,
Yes.
one week you have to, bass us up a little
Yeah,
bit.
no, we're not doing that.
You're not gonna bass us up with a
I can't. I don't play it good enough for me to play it in public
and I
yet.
guess I'm not getting my bass back because you've already renamed it.
Yeah, I named. Yeah, that's the. You're not getting that back.
My Ibanez bass for
Yes,
that
yes.
like
I have.
brief moment in time when I was playing the bass.
Yes, I have an Ibanez. I have an electric Ibanez and I have an acoustic Ibanez. So the
Nice,
electric
all
is called
Ibanez out.
Langston at the Langston Hughes, and the acoustic is called Janet at the Janet Jackson.
Right. And again, I had that bass for years. It never had a name. I didn't think a bass or guitar was, like a boat. Like you have to
You're
name it.
supposed to give them names.
Okay, because I
Yes.
do have my acoustic guitar I've had since like forever, and it has no name.
BB King had Lucille.
That's true. But who else is going to name, bass? But anyway, but no, Rapper's Delight was a classic because you know what? It was Sugar Hill, um, Sugar Hill Records or something like that. I remember I could see it like it was
Yeah.
a blue label. And the one thing I do miss about vinyl that I really didn't like with cassettes, and you had it with some CDs, but with vinyl, you had liner notes.
Yes.
And that's all I'm saying, people. There's a whole
Yes.
generation that doesn't know a dang thing about liner notes, and it's just a damn shame. That's all I'm going to say. A whole generation of folks who don't know liner notes. But all right, let's move on.
In the movie Karina, that's what Karina wanted to do for a living. She wanted to write liner notes.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
Ray Liotta and Whoopi Goldberg.
And Whoopi Goldberg, who was beautiful in that movie too.
That's so true, Roy. My first name ain't baby. It's Janet and Miss Jackson. If you're nasty.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Miss Jackson, because I am nasty.
Um, I had a friend in college. I don't know if you remember Tony Rizzo, but he was so funny because
I love Tony Rizzo. He was funny.
Tony, he is hysterical. But our line used to be from what was that song? Girl, I know he's fine, but oh, what has he done for you lately? But what has he done for you lately? But we would always exchange that line and put it on our cards and everything. Anyway, tell us a little bit about what we're talking about tonight, Kenny.
Tonight we are talking about women coming of age movies. And these are the movies of women that are coming of age, the movies about women coming of age. And you'll see the list that we have, and you'll probably agree that these are the movies. Now, mind you, we only have an hour. And by the time we get to the list, we have like a half hour. So we can't get to every coming of age movie. I was talking to my son earlier. He goes, did you put 13 going on 30 on this list? And I said, no, I didn't. He goes, well, why not? You're doing it. I go, George, I got an hour.
We got an hour. We do about 30 minutes of pop culture news, so really we only have about 30 minutes. So let's take a look at it. Let's get to it. And I don't know. And I guess you said women coming of age movies, but actually, wouldn't it be girls? Because some of these movies, I'm like,
I was trying not to be offensive to women by calling them girls.
But that was a whole.
There's some women that find that offensive.
Okay. Well, hey, I went over the list and I added a couple of honorable mentions that you didn't have on the list, but I thought probably should make the list.
I know, but we have an hour.
I know. Okay, let's hit them. We'll hit it and quit it. And here's the thing, though. A couple of these I thought should be on the list because they even have female directors, and I think that's that's kind of important and key if you're telling the story of women, especially as they come of age. One was the Virgin Suicides, and I remember seeing this so long ago, but I can't remember all of the plot. I just remember it's like, you know what? Let's give work to every young blonde actress in Hollywood. So anyway, that's my short version of the plot. The other one, and I thought this was important too, because this is a classic, not just from a movie standpoint, but a literary standpoint and that's the one topic in pop culture we have not covered, and that is literature. And I would love for us to do a book series and talk about some popular books. Of course, I've spent the weekend reading some books to kind of help me plan for 2025, like a 12-week year and feel good productivity. But that's a whole nother story for another time. But Little Women to me is one that again, I'm going back to the Susan Sarandon version, and I know there was a version even before that, but there's a more recent version that was directed by Greta Gerwig, which, again, if we're going to talk about movies about, young ladies coming of age, you want to get it from a female director's perspective. So that's why I did add that to our list. And finally, I also added, and I'm like, how did he miss this one? Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. I put the first one, not the second one. Second one was okay, but I think the first one is the one that kind of resonates. Although, again, this was a popular novel, and if I can ever push it back to literature, I'm going to. But it was a popular young adult novel about these pants. Have you ever seen this movie?
No,
Or is
I've
this
never
too
seen this movie.
this too much of a chick flick for you? I'm sure.
Yeah,
But and
probably so.
how it fit all this group of friends, even though they were all different sizes, different, and again, their experiences as these pants kind of traveled around the world among this little friend group. And
I'm
and
not even
and
going
I,
to touch the multitude of jokes I have for this. Go ahead, let's go on. I ain't going to touch the multitude of one-liners and jokes I have for this one. So we're going to move right on.
okay.
So here's another movie I haven't seen,
Oh my
but I
God, you have not seen Juno?
I've not. I was going to watch it
Kenny,
today,
come
but
on.
I was
It's
I was,
funny.
I was going to watch it today, but then I did
What
something
happened?
else. I did
What
something
happened?
else.
Now it's my turn to go. Who hurt you?
Yeah.
No,
And then my son told me it was too hipstery anyway, and it wasn't that great.
he didn't like that. I
No, you didn't
love
like
this
that.
movie. See,
You
yeah,
didn't like
Roy
that.
is with me. I love Juno. It is so funny. It's got just such great moves. And Elliot Page, well, it was Ellen Page back then, but
Yes.
she was just breakout star material in this particular movie in Juno. And oh God, who is the guy from Law and Order? Not not was not is it Law and Order? I can't remember the guy's name. Gosh, where's Ed when I need him? He is just so funny in this. And Allison, oh God, I can't think the parents. I'm getting a mental block. But anyway, it
Jason
is
Bateman,
funny.
Jennifer Garner,
Well, no, Justin Bateman and Jennifer Garner. That was the
J.K.
couple who
Simmons.
was. Oh, J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons is awesome. He is a boat full of awesome, and he is great in this movie. And
J.K.
yeah,
Simmons is kind of awesome in almost everything he touches.
y- that's true. I don't think he can do wrong.
He's you can't go wrong with J.K. Simmons, really. You can't.
All right, what's our next movie? Oops, sorry. I'm
There's,
going back
there's
to
no
the
bad J.K. Simmons movies. There are bad movies that J.K. Simmons accepted the script for.
Okay, there you go. Our next movie is Now and Then. Don't tell me you didn't see this one either.
I'm gonna tell you, I didn't see this.
I did, and I'm trying to remember. I remember it being good. And again, one of the notable things is some of these child actors actually went on, like Gabby Hoffman and Christina Ricci, did go on and made the transition as like adult actresses and performers. But I Rita Wilson, this one is actually pretty good. Melanie Griffith. I thought it was cute. I thought it was.
I'm
And
surprised I haven't seen that because Rosie O'Donnell was one of my crushes in her early career.
there's so much wrong with your like whole list of crushes. Just there's just so much wrong in it. But I digress. Now this next movie I have not seen. You'd have to help me with this one.
Little,
Yeah, I didn't see this.
Little
This
is
this
it's
is
kind of
fairly
like a
new, right?
reverse on Big. It's kind of like a
Okay.
reverse on Big, where Big the kid becomes big, and this one the girl becomes little, and she's a big business tycoon, and she has to go back to being this geeky little kid. Issa Rae, of course, is in this as her assistant when she's an adult, but they become friends when
I think I
she is.
remember when it came out. It didn't do that well box office wise, though, did it?
I don't think it did,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what? It was a really good movie. There
Hmm.
was some really good scenes in it, and uh, Marcia Martin
Mm-hmm.
is great in this. She's a great little actress. Regina Hall, of course, is good. Issa Rae, Justin Hartley is in it. It's just a good movie altogether, and it's pretty funny actually. There's one
Okay.
scene. There's one scene where Marcia Martin is when she's small. When she's Regina Hall small, she talks back to Issa Rae. Issa Rae's trying to. She has to go to school because she's a kid, and they make her go to school. And she talks back to Issa Rae, and she kind of hits her. And the security guard is like, "Uh oh." He says he's getting some kind of code. He goes, "Black mom whooping coming." And Issa Rae winds up spanking her, and he goes, "Oh, reminds me of my mom." Ooh. So it's good. It's good.
All right. I will
The
put
next
that on
we
my
have
list.
next we it's on Netflix right now, so watch it. The next you
Okay.
have The Hate You Give.
The Hate You Give.
Now, The
Yeah.
Hate You Give was originally a book,
Ah,
a
we're
book that
making
was
all kind
given
of
to
literary connections this show.
yes, and a book that was given to my daughters from George's sister Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a book, The Hate You Give, and it's pretty much about code switching in America. And this girl who lives in the hood, but she goes to a private school with predominantly white kids, and she it's about how she has to act when she's in school and how she has to act when she's in the hood. And a friend of hers that gets killed in the hood, and it's this movie made me laugh, made me cry. This movie, I think, this movie should have gotten way more attention than it did. It should have won an award that year, and it wasn't up for any awards. It should have won an award that year. This movie was phenomenal, and I suggest it to anybody
I
who
did
will
read.
see it.
I did read the book. In fact, I think I have the book and really enjoyed it. And again, I'm one of those people. There's very few movies that I think are better than the book. The only movie I think actually that might be better than the book is Original Color Purple, and that's only because I had trouble reading the book, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
couldn't
you
read the
said
book
that.
until I saw the movie. But this actually was one of those movies where I think, or the book might have been better, but still good. And I think part of it might have been timing because I don't know. I think this came out either during the pandemic or, and
Yes,
again, like kind of in the post George Floyd era. So it was very relevant, very topical. But I think people kind of, gave it the
What-
a third rail treatment and wanted to stay away from it because
yes.
again, if we have to actually talk about the topic,
Yeah,
we
this
got to
came
get
out
in.
before the pandemic. It came out in
Oh, did it?
2018,
Okay.
and it's after Trayvon Martin and everything else.
Trayvon
But the
Martin.
thing of
Hmm.
this is, with the growth of this, and we're forgetting to say, how does this come of age? With the growth of this is showing how this young lady handled code switching and was able to educate other people about what she was going through in her world. So that was her coming of age. Next, we have Boxes. And Boxes is a movie I actually rewatched this weekend.
Oh, wow.
And, you
Now that
know,
had to be really dated.
it is very dated, very dated. Jodie Foster, Scott Baio.
Oh
Uh,
God, Scott Baio,
yeah, Scott Baio
1980s.
was in this movie. And this was coming of age. It's pretty much about these four girls who wish for a better life. And one's a druggie, one's insecure about herself because she's not as cute as the others. One is a flirt, and she'll go out with any guy. She's guy crazy, and the other one's pretty much this. Jodie Foster pretty much plays the stable one, and she kind of mothers everybody else throughout the movie, but she has her own problems with her mother herself, and this is coming of age because it's watching these girls. They're like 16 years old and they're in high school, and in the end, Jodie Foster's character is going to college and everything else, and it's one of them things where you watch these girls go from young party kids, and they're in the end they realize the era of their ways, kind of, sort of. And Foster's character, who, because they're kids, they just want to get away from their parents, and they want to have fun, and they think their parents are very hampering on them. And they realize in the end that that is so not the case so much, as they're just being spoiled brat kids. So
And I know, well, and again, Jodie Foster is one of those rare exceptions of a child actor that actually makes the transition. Not a whole lot of them, but she did it successfully. But
yeah,
this was one
she
of
did.
those.
She did have some problems, with drugs and everything else.
But this was one of those
So,
movies that I think helped her make that transition. But I
yes,
remember
it did.
seeing this, and you know what? When you say this movie, and I know we didn't put it on the list, but it also makes me think of a movie like maybe not so much Mystic Pizza, but maybe even Satisfaction. Do you remember that
Yes,
movie with Justine Bateman and young
yes. I
Julia
should have put that on
Roberts?
the list because I love that movie, even though
Okay.
that didn't do good with him.
Yeah, it didn't do. It
Um,
wasn't. It was one of those movies I think that did better with cable, because there are a lot
yes,
of movie, and I think our number one movie I think probably didn't do as well at the box office, but it was one of those movies that once we had HBO like in on our TVs at home, it was one of those movies that was always on and got a lot of play.
yes.
So, uh-huh.
Next we have Just Between Friends, and this is a little known movie. And I say this is a coming of age movie because this is about Mary Tyler Moore being married to Ted Danson. Mary Tyler Moore is married to Ted Danson, and Ted Danson, they seem to have the perfect marriage, and apparently it wasn't as perfect as they thought, because he was cheating on Mary Tyler Moore with, and I'm trying to find the actress's name because I looked up the wrong thing, and but anyway, he was cheating, and they didn't realize he was cheating until after he died, because apparently his character dies in the beginning. We're not giving away any spoilers,
So
and it's
how
just
does
between friends because these two women inadvertently become friends.
hmm
So them becoming friends, um, they find out. Well, the mistress finds out that, hey, I was having an affair with her husband, and she doesn't know it. And then, eventually she finds out, and
And I think I did see this movie, and that
you
was my
did see this
question.
movie.
I was like, how is this a coming of age movie? Because when you say coming of age movie, I think of it as like like young girls either, again becoming women. So I
Well,
don't
it's
get
coming
how
of
this.
age. It's
Why?
coming of age because she was married, and she says in this movie that she's used to her husband doing everything for her. And so now she had to go out and do for herself because her husband was gone. And she had to learn to be an independent, her own woman. So she kind of came of age after, you know what I'm saying? So
It's a
that's why it's
stretch.
a coming of age movie for her, because she kind of liberated herself, found herself. And Christine Lottie is the
Oh,
actress.
oh yeah, Christine Latte. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
That's a
she is,
stretch.
who was a great actress, who was in one of my other favorite movies, and Justice for All. You and the fellas will making decisions on my life. Gail,
On my
my
life.
life.
Okay.
So she was in there. Sam Waterston, Mary Tyler Moore, of course, but Christine Latte influenced the Mary Tyler Moore character, who is now a widow, to seek one of her passions and become a dance instructor. And she became a yoga instructor or something like that, where she was in the gym teaching people how to do, steps and stuff like that, and exercise person. So she encouraged her to do that. So then Mary Tyler Moore built her own life after being this woman who was kept and married and everything else. So that's why it's coming of age, because she became stronger after that. When she found out her best friend had an affair with her husband, she cut ties with her best friend. But then they wound up, getting back together and being buddies.
Now you're giving away the whole plot. But anyway, I
Well,
guess it's an
it's
old,
an old movie, so if you haven't seen it,
1986. So that's
yeah,
a short.
1986. Well,
All right.
Next we have The Color Purple, which is also a book.
I saw The Color Purple. It made me blue.
You know what? You know what?
Some
No
are just for
moonlighting
me.
jokes.
Some
No
are just for
moonlighting
me.
jokes.
I love that moon. That's my favorite moonlighting joke. Although he had a Prince joke in there one time. I forgot what it was, but I just remember hearing it and just totally cracking up. But anyway, moonlighting, that's for another show. But you say The Color Purple, and I can see this because we start off with the two sisters, and actually it's more Whoopi Goldberg's character Celi's kind of coming of age, and we see her kind of go like 360 almost from being this like introverted, insecure, abused person to becoming Miss Celi's pants, becoming a
Whatever you do to
businesswoman.
me will come back at you.
Okay. Oh gosh, I know. I remember having an eighth grader
Maybe you're ugly, you can't cook, can't
who could do
clean.
that whole dinner scene speech. Everybody
I
has.
don't ask anything from you.
I didn't even ask for your sorry ass hand in marriage. You cannot go to a black family function without having some aunt or some cousin who knows the entire Miss Celi Color Purple dinner speech. Somebody knows it by heart.
Somebody knows that.
You give them the right amount of eggnog with a little amaretto in it, you'll get that speech.
You gonna let her talk to you like that at your own dinner table? From The Color Purple, my buddy Mike has this thing that he says to me when I say crazy stuff on the phone, and we're talking. He'll go, and I'll say something. He'll go, when you don't want to talk anymore, when you want to shut me up, bye, Paul. Bye, Paul.
Bye, Paul.
This is what he tells me, like, what you need here is another young girl in here. Bye, Paul. Bye, Paul. Go ahead, Paul. Bye, Paul.
Grab his hat, get his cane, hit the door. All right, moving on with our list, coming of age. And actually, we were talking about mainly female stories or that focus, but there's probably a whole nother genre where we can do the men, everything from Stand By Me to The Sandlot, and there's like a ton of movies. Oh, Radio Flyer. You remember that movie? Did you see Radio Flyer?
No, I didn't see Radio Fly.
Oh, it's so good. Anyway, I digress.
Yeah, you
Back
do.
to the list.
Next
I
we
always
have
digress. That's what I'm here for.
16 Candles.
Jake. 16 Candles.
So, 16 Candles is about this girl, Molly Ringwald, who has a 16th birthday, and everybody seems to forget her 16th birthday. And this is her coming of age, kind of, sort of. And, it's, I think, really, we put this on the list. It's more of the nerd coming of age, too.
You gotta explain. Help me.
The nerd character in this, Ed the Farmer, he kind of came of age because he had to take this girl home, and he woke up with her the next day, and she actually liked it, being with him, and he was kind of like, he was acting cool, but then at this point now, he couldn't act cool anymore, and he was like, wait a minute. But you can't show them now when you show 16 Candles. People complain about it giving rapey vibes because, she was out of it.
Well, again, there was a lot of things that would fly in the 1980s that nowadays you're like, ooh,
That wouldn't
that's
fly
a little
now.
sus.
No.
You know?
no,
a little
no.
sus, as the kids say. But
Yeah.
and again, different times, different eras. But there were some movies that one of my favorite movies, which actually I think you could still play today. It's gonna land a little differently. But if have you ever seen Love with the Proper Stranger?
No.
Natalie Wood and Steve McQueen. Well, I won't go into
No.
the details, but it's from the 1960s. But again, yeah, I think you can watch it, and even though the themes of it deals with abortion basically, and at the time it was probably considered a racy kind of film, and again, in today's society, it'd be a whole different take on it, but just it's just interesting the way. Again, whatever floats in society and how it's portrayed on film, and how it, again the things that we get used to and accept, that I don't know, we just, I guess we evolve or maybe devolve
Yes.
in some cases. Hey, Scooby Life in the house,
Ruby
how are
Life, how you
you?
doing?
Good to see you here.
Next,
Thanks for hanging out with us. We are talking about coming of age movies and how women have come of age in the film. And I have questions, Kenny, because some of these things on the list, I'm kind of like, but again, you do the list. I just press the buttons.
next we have Clueless.
No, I still have 16 candles because I'm clueless about moving the slides forward.
Okay.
As
Next we have
if
Clueless. Alicia Silverstone, Paul Rudd, Brittany Murphy, Stacey Dash, Donald Faison. The list goes on to people who are in this
rolling with
movie.
the homies. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes,
I
yes.
can't. I
And
can't
I
think of
will
that movie
say
without that line.
Brittany Murphy being deceased is such a shame because she was so beautiful. And she
Uh,
was so talented as an actress.
I'll never tell. Did you ever see that movie with Michael Douglas? I can't
No.
think of the name of it. That's, you know what? I think I am getting old. Like movies I used to know, I'm like losing it. But and again, it was such a departure because she looked totally different from when, like in Clueless, she was much younger and kind of chubby or whatever. But then in that Michael Douglas movie, oh gosh, I can't even remember the name of it.
And we
Where's
got
Ed
a
when you need him?
we got a taste of early Paul Rudd in this one,
Paul Rudd, who
who and Alicia Silverstone.
looks
Clueless,
looks the same age, then as he
as
does
yeah,
now.
he does, he does, he
He
does.
doesn't
Basically,
age.
yes, he doesn't age much. And Clueless is one of those movies where it's coming of age because this young lady is truly clueless. But throughout her journey of being self-centered, rich girl, and privileged, she kind of throughout the movie set things up for other people to be happy. And that was her coming of age thing because when she first started the movie out, Cher was this girl that was just, self-centered,
She went from
very all
self-centered
about
to
passion and self.
selfless.
Yeah, yeah. And then throughout the movie, she realized that, I gotta help people.
Roy is asking us, what about 13 going on 30? That was one too.
Yeah,
I
Roy,
thought
Roy,
could
we
be on
got
the
an
list.
hour. We got an hour, Roy. Got an hour, Roy. Sorry. Didn't make the cut.
It didn't make the cut. I know.
Yes, didn't
Kenny
make the
Kenny
cut.
cuts the list. I thought about adding that too when I added those other three, but I was like, no, he's gonna kill me because I'm changing his list. I don't touch the
Yes.
list. But
And
Clueless, I can go with that one. I like that one. Glad that
next
one's
we
on
have
there.
My Girl.
Oh, I love this movie. And
Yeah, it
Anna
was very
Sophia
sad.
Robb, I
Dylan
just thought
Macaulay
she was
Culkin's
really
character
good.
was very sad and very useless. That I don't know why they had to do that,
Why
but
they had
this
to
is a
do
coming of
what?
age of a young girl who was growing up, and they did My Girl too, which I never saw.
I, I saw it and it was okay. And again, but I think the original My Girl was the one to see. And this is another child actress. I think she actually went on to star. I forgot what this TV series is, but she did do a TV series. So she like
Yeah,
continued her career. So I know it doesn't always go well for the child actor, but in some cases, it works out.
Next, we have Beaches.
Ah, and I put the original Beaches on there. I know there was a remake, like an all black
There was?
remake.
No, we're not
Was
doing
it?
remakes. We're not doing remakes. We're doing the original. We don't do remake. No, no. The original Beach
There was like a
with Beaches with
lifetime,
Bette
like
Midler.
okay,
There was a
with
remake?
Mayim Bialik. Uh huh. There was like an
Yeah.
old, yeah.
So I mean,
Shout out to my
if you didn't
Royals. Okay, sorry.
if you didn't cry at the end of Beaches, at some point during Beaches, you really have no heart. I'm sorry.
I didn't cry. No, I'm
You
kidding. I
you
did.
you are a cold, heartless person. If you didn't even you didn't at least feel like clamped on it, like yeah, that feeling like you want to cry, but you just like you know, if you didn't well up a little bit in Beaches, you're heartless. But this is a coming of age. This is about a friendship of two friends who met on the beach and became friends for the rest of their lives. One became a successful star, and the other became a housewife. And it was about their lives coming together, then going apart, then coming together, then going apart, and then coming back together again in the end. So it was a very emotional roller coaster of a friendship coming through that.
Cool deal.
And next we have Waiting to Exhale.
I didn't understand how this made the list because to me they were already women. They had, what's the
Okay,
evolution?
see, coming of age of women doesn't mean that they're girls going for women. See, what we're going by is coming
See,
of
and
age.
that's
You
what I
can
took
be,
it to mean. So that's why I'm all
okay,
confused.
well, coming of age of women, women coming of age movies means a woman who's going through something that helps her progress to the next level. Just like I can have a coming of age story at 58 years old if I go through something that makes me better on the other side of it. You understand what I'm saying? So after you burn somebody's car, after you burn your man's car up, you feel a little better.
You feel a little better.
And meet Wesley Snipes in the hotel, you
You
feel a
feel a
little
little
better.
better.
You know? After you make dinner for Gregory Hines and switch away as you're walking away from him, you feel a little
You
better.
feel a little better. All right. Okay.
And this is these women, this friendship of these women progressing and them coming of age within their friendship.
All right. Hey. Okay. I saw it on the list. I'm like, he's gonna have to explain this to me because I don't get it.
I think
But
did I explain that to you?
I guess
Did,
so.
did that make sense to you?
You guys gotta let me know in the comments did it make sense to you. But again, Kenny's list. I'm just here to roll the titles. So our last movie, and I don't think anybody will guess this one, but I'm kind of glad it's on here because it's one of my. I don't know. It's one of my favorite. It's like one of those movies from the '80s that I probably could. I can't quote it like I could. Better Off Dead, but every time if it's on, I will stop and watch. But I
Yes.
know for sure one thing is sure, and that is fair is fair.
There's fair.
Fair is fair.
There's fair.
You gotta do it this way. Fair is fair.
When the way she did it, she kind of shook her head with you. Fair is
Fair is
fair. She kind
fair.
of shook her head up and everything and did
Give
all
me my
that.
$680. What is it? $608 or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. And
And you know what? For the longest time, and in fact, it wasn't until you told me a couple months ago on this show that they're not related. For years,
they're
I thought
not.
they were brother and sister. I was
No.
like, I totally thought they were brother and sister. And then, I think you told me, and I looked it up, and I'm like, oh God, they're not related.
Not
Although,
only were Helen Slater and Kristen Slater not related, Kristen Slater during the filming of this movie had a humongous crush on her,
oh wow,
which would have been a totally different movie altogether.
but yeah, for I mean, forever until I was
Yes.
like yesterday years old when I realized that they were not brother and sister.
And you had to tell one of the standouts to this movie. She didn't become a great screen actress, but you would recognize her voice on The Simpsons. Yardley Smith
Yardley
was in
Smith.
this movie as Putter, and Keith Gordon was in this movie as Lloyd, and he was great in this movie also.
Yeah, Keith
And
Gordon.
of course, Kristen Slater. You had Peter Coyle in this movie. And this was just a great movie altogether and
The
all in one.
Legend of Billie Jean.
The Legend of Billie Jean. And this is coming of age and on this list because this is like the epitome of a coming of age movie for a young lady going into womanhood because she was that age of a young teenage woman going into womanhood. And she created a movement. She created a movement when they were set up. They were framed for something they didn't do. And she created a movement where all these people. So, but one of the best scenes in this is where people were coming to her for help, and these kids came to her for help because their friend was getting abused by his father. And she comes in the door, and he goes, "Who are you?" And this, that, and the other. He goes, "Well, we're taking such and so. We're taking him out, and he's going to, you know." He goes, "Oh, I know who you are. I don't want no trouble." And then he looks out the window, and all the kids are standing out, and then Kristen Slater standing there looking all tough, and Keith Gordon standing there looking all tough, and he goes, "You got your whole gang with you. I don't want no trouble." And it's really good. And she takes him out and she saves the boy, and he goes and lives with his grandmom and this, that, and the other. But it is a great movie. It's a great coming of age movie. Legend of Billie Jean shows these kids becoming responsible and outsmarting the establishment, which is a great staple for 80s kids movies alone, is kids outsmarting the establishment and the police and having no consequences of getting arrested or anything. This didn't happen in the hood movies. This happened in the suburban white movies. In the hood movies, the kids got shot like Boys in the Hood. They got shot. But in movies like The Legend of Billie Jean, they got away with, running from the police and everything else and not going to jail. So, but it was the 80s, and this is what you got. This is what you get.
It was the 80s. It was a different time. Yeah, it wasn't like Cornbread Earl and Me. They shot
Cornbread. Wasn't like the Cornbread on me. Yeah, nah. You got something totally different. You got something totally. Wasn't like Boys in the Hood,
Boys in the Hood. Oh man.
Yeah, wasn't like Boys in the Hood. It's a totally different thing going on there.
Although you want to talk about the perfect merge of like a movie moment and music, when they play Ooh Child in Boys in the Hood, I'm like, now every time I hear that song, I can almost see the scenes of that movie like playing in my head. It's just
it's certain moments in movies and music that kind of like whenever you think of that song, you got that movie in your head, and that's just how it is. I don't know if we ever done a show about that.
Wasn't the song in Legend of Billie Jean? Wasn't it a Pat Benatar song?
Yes, we are young.
Love is a battlefield.
Heartache, we stand.
No singing, no singing.
And then she goes down to the warehouse, and all the other girls have haircuts like her. And I'm like, what? And
they all get the Billie Jean haircut.
What in the clothes saga is going on here? And one reason the police couldn't catch Billie Jean because every girl had the same haircut as Billie Jean. Right. And then every time they stop somebody, they think it was Billie Jean, but it wasn't because they see the haircut. They'd be like, yeah. And the young girl, and it's not. What I needed to see in that movie was them stop somebody with a blonde hair and turn them around, and it'd be like a young black brother going, "Hey, what's going on?" He has his blonde wig on because he's trying to be like Billie Jean. Now that would have been funny. That would have been
funny. Hey, you know what I forgot to do before we went into this list, and I want to do it real quick before we leave. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us on the Sunday evening. Hopefully you are safe where you are. I know we're getting freezing rain here down in the north. You guys are getting snow. In North Carolina, we're getting the freezing rain. You guys up in South Jersey are getting the snow warnings. But we thank you so much for hanging out with us. And if you would, please take the time, give us that thumbs up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Pop Culture Kids. Visit us on the website, kathyandkenny.com, to check out our blog posts, our Instagram feed, and that kind of thing. We'd really appreciate it. You can become a member of our website. It doesn't cost you anything. You just sign up with your email, and you'll know about when we're doing the show and any other cool things that we might be doing. I forgot to do the little plug, so I figured
doesn't cost you anything to join. It's free. What's the best price? It's free. It's free.
It's $603.
How much is it? It's free.
It's the cost
That's
of
right. It's free.
what were they trying to get in Billie Jean? Wasn't it a snow?
They were trying to get the money for did they? I
Was it
think
like a moped? Like a
yeah, the moped. They
okay,
messed up his moped.
right? Okay,
The guy on the store, his son and his
his son,
friends
right?
tore up his moped, and they wanted the money for the moped. And
Because that was a
he
big
came
theme in
on
the
with the money,
'80s.
and the father was like,
You always
"What
had like
you gonna
some
do for this? What you want to do for this money? Let's go. What you want to do?"
right. Well, that was the theme for the '80s. You always had some like good-looking jockey, rich prick villain. So that was just that was the trope of the '80s movies. So, and I guess they couldn't get Andrew McCarthy to play that part. So whoever you can get.
Or Zapka, or Billy Zapka.
Okay.
The guy for Karate Kid, because he was in a lot of stuff as the bully.
Oh, okay.
William Zapka from Karate Kid?
I don't. He's in Cobra Kai. Is that the guy in Cobra
Yeah.
Kai? Oh, okay.
And he was also in with a girl dressed up as a boy.
Just one of the guys.
He was also just one of the guys.
Oh, I love just one of the
He
guys.
was also in a couple of other movies as the bully, and they have a running joke when they had him on How I Met Your Mother, where he's like, "Yeah, nobody liked me because I always played the bad guy." And they see him sitting there looking at movies, and they say, "Oh, Billy Zapka." The people throwing popcorn at him all the time and everything, and him out on the street, and the people just throwing popcorn at him and stuff like that. So yeah, it's funny.
Okay. I didn't
William
know that
Zapka.
actor's name, so thank you for
Yeah.
enlightening me. Enlightening and educating. And that's what we do here at Pop Culture Kids. We thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will be back next Sunday night. Come hang, tell us your favorite movies, your favorite music. Kenny, I don't have the list in front of me, so I don't know what we're talking about next week, but I know we'll be talking about something.
Yeah,
Usually we
next
start off with a
week-
little pop culture news, and then we
Next week, our topic is something that you will love, and I don't know how you forgot this. But when we talk about Gen X things, we're talking about
I'm
we
a
talk
baby
about a lot of
boomer.
80s movies. And next week it's Where Are They Now? Cast
Oh,
of
that's
Fame
right.
from 1980. So yes, Cast of Fame. Where are they now?
25.
Fame is one of Kathy's favorite movies.
It definitely is. That's like 45 years ago. God,
Yes.
45 years ago. That's insane.
And then on the 19th, we're going to be talking about what's coming in theaters in 2025. And then
Superman?
we're ending January with Black Stars and Country Music.
Okay. All right. So we have
So
a
that's
whole
our January
host
list. Come
of
back for all
topics,
of it.
and we actually have plotted out topics for the first quarter. So
Yes.
we'll be here. I mean, we're not going anywhere. And we thank you guys for hanging out with us on a Sunday night. Like I said, with all the weather and things coming, be safe wherever you are. And as always, in parting, we wish you love, peace, and pop culture.
God bless your soul and keep living. Peace.
Peace.
Kathy and Kenny here to say, pop culture running every way. Music, TV, movies,
Thank you for
so
geeking out
bright.
with Kathy and Kenny on Kathy and Kenny Explain Pop Culture.